Welcome to Hikomori Days, a show recorded from a room that hadn't changed since, America had a different president, maybe two. 70 years inside, that's not a lifestyle, that's a subscription plan you forgot to cancel. Some people call it isolation, we call it free shipping, or every emotion. And now broadcasting live from a desk that had seen more instant noodles than human interaction. This is Hikikomori Days. This morning, as I mentioned yesterday, I'm not sure if it was my parent mistake, but there was a small problem with the podcast when I checked in the morning. They had fixed it. But the Japanese episode had an English description. It made me angry and frustrated, and I didn't feel like explaining it to my parent. I couldn't believe my eyes. Read at night. There's nothing to do, and I can study English. So I have no choice but to listen to podcasts. But I always end up falling asleep while listening. My sleep might be light. I don't like doing nothing. So I listen to podcasts just to pass the time. If I stop after feeling a little sleepy, I can't sleep at all. And I end up thinking I should have kept listening. But if I start listening again, sometimes I can sleep, or I fall asleep while listening. So recently, I haven't been able to sleep properly. Also, I've been worried about charging my phone. I don't follow a routine, so I go downstairs to charge it in the morning like usual. But the timing of going back upstairs is awkward. I try and pass the time by talking with my parent, but even so, it doesn't work today. I asked my parent what I should do. I guess there's no real answer, but I was still worried this morning. Around 3, I had just put the files in so I could charge my phone, and my mind was spinning with doubt. In the end, I had to take my phone downstairs to charge it. That became my whole day. I had to plan my day around charging my phone. Planning your whole day around charge a phone is kinda ridiculous. About the podcast jingle, like I said yesterday, I wondered if I could make it myself, but I don't have confidence or the means, so I kept thinking about it. I wondered if I could change the direction of the jingle. I used to think it was a waste of time, but now I have nothing to do, so I'm torn. Next, I was curious about how mechanical parking lots work. There are different types like rotating or elevator systems, but I don't really understand them. Things that need special skills are hard for me to grasp. When I hear about something new, I get strongly excited and curious, so I end up looking it up. about meat eating. I think this goes for all animals. If there's a sound or change nearby, it's a matter of life or death. So your awareness rises a little. You judge if it's dangerous or not. Just a little, but it's enough. If we react fully to every sound, it would be exhausting. Even a small rise in awareness enough to distract me completely while eating. I lose all focus. Humans can't fully focus on two things at once. I lose concentration easily. So when I eat, I have to focus and not worry about danger. But then I don't taste the food as much. It's tricky. I thought about samurai before. I wondered if I could show the idea of being stoic but reclusive in my cover art. Samurai have a spirit similar to me. Foreign people are more interested in samurai than ninjas. I thought it would add another character to my story. But I already have a role include, like autism or religion, so it's confusing. Samurai are a good symbol to express myself, and they interest people abroad. Japanese people might not care as much. A reclusive person as a samurai doesn't make sense to them. This morning, like I said yesterday, a repair person came. My parents tell the schedule normally, like when my father will return. But I have to go upstairs until 3, and they didn't explain that. They didn't seem worried, just calm. The first time they came, I reminded them they forgot and they just said, all right, and that was it. So schedule changed and they never explained I have to stay upstairs until 3. I don't understand why they forgot. I also talk about mixing sesame, miso, kinako, and tofu in a blender, but that could increase salt intake. I don't know why that was okay. I thought about other food yesterday, but I still don't understand this choice. It was a waste of time to think about it. Writing in English has been hard too. I want to think, post quickly, and to finish a present task. I wanted summer homework done fast too. I try to finish quickly, but that distracted me all day. I read about the movie about a second generation member living a strict religion. Their words are different, and the religion has unique terms. I didn't experience that, but I can see how using the same language can still lead to different understanding. Social rules and habits can feel out of sync with others. This person had trouble understanding freedom in their religion. I also like some common concept. I often say large religion with visible problems don't get attention, but they might have hidden issues. My religion isn't big, but it has cult-like element. Religions that just mention that afterlife are okay. Beyond that, it can be dangerous. I won't go into detail now. I've realized that Living a religion doesn't change life much. Joining a religion doesn't change life much either. I was lucky. I had no attachment, so I didn't struggle. Some people struggle after leaving a religion, but I didn't. Other people have problem with social rules or language, like me with autism. It's hard to fit in. Some parents even lock children in shelters for religion reason. A podcast writer once said instead of payment, they wanted lifelong tickets to the singer. That made me feel the industry in shady. I cannot forget that it was a bit traumatic. I realized things like this to happen. I thought about samurai again. The samurai spirit is about sticking to belief, but I'm not strict or goal driven like that. I wonder if I've lived too much by Japanese norm too. Japanese norm too. Still living free from value in illusion. Human always live within some values. Life is just different. People create concepts, but everyone lives differently. Recording podcast daily is like a samurai facing a sword, even if it's just passing time, focusing on one thing in similar, similar. But I don't have goals or ideal like a samurai. My routine comes from autism, not pride. My stoic side might be genetic. I don't fully understand myself, maybe that's why I can continue podcast. Simple life would be boring. Making the cover art is hard. Samurai works because foreign interested, and I feel it's fit my perfectionist side, but not completely. I also did a philosophy test about 50-60 questions, showing Japanese philosophy, modern philosopher, and well explained. And I can check books or libraries, so it's tricky. Like with Idol, sometimes too many characters overlap. I understand that feeling. Today, many things happened. High school entrance exam ended. Then graduation day was supposed to be a few days later, but my parents said it's next week. That was shocking. I also noticed something with frozen croquettes. Usually I have frozen ones at the supermarket, but yesterday I got them from the prepared food section. Same product, but I didn't have to fry them. My parent confused me about where they bought them and whether I'd eaten them. It was a mess and hard to understand. The repair person came early at 2 instead of after 3. I asked my parent if that happened normally. My father is too kind and worried too much. I told I told them off mentally, but it's strange. Finally, today I forgot what I wanted to talk about on the podcast with my parent and what to think about. It was hard to remember, but I think I remembered everything in the afternoon. We also talked about charging my phone. I asked to start charging at a certain time, and even though they said I could, they started right away. I was surprised. Today they admitted it, and I said we need to listen properly. The teacher was coming, so I told my parents to move my slippers. I checked things carefully when guests come. We also talk about eating soy product. Eating too much can cold smell. So maybe just a little in the evening. I spent a lot of time thinking this afternoon. Last night I had two dreams. One was about religion and the other about trying to return the club activity but deciding not to. It was a bad dream. Repeating the same thing even though I finally slept for a long time, but sleep is really confusing. Even if you sleep a long time, it's not really too much. Even after sleeping long, the next day feels the same. I still wanna sleep. Then I start thinking maybe shorter sleep is fine. It feels like reclusive type problems. I get bored with daily life and try to watch different videos. But when I do that, the usual videos start to feel boring. I felt that strongly yesterday. Sometimes I think, okay, I'll watch videos I used to watch from old channel or old creators. But if I do, I get used to that stimulation and the usual videos feel boring again. It's matter of self-control. I also slightly changed my morning routine, cutting out wasteful steps. But that may unconsciously affect the afternoon routine too. You have to think about how one small change can affect patterns. It's hard. One change can make the whole day difficult. Recently, I've been curious about DJ Cole. I'm not really interested, but I thought I'd watch a documentary today. And yesterday, I saw him at the Bone Dance Festival. Next topic: celebrities. Sometimes they act like they're extremely tense in an argument. Of course, it's acting, but they argue with that intense face and that laugh at the end. I don't like that. If they laugh, it makes everything before feel like it was fake, just acting. It ruins the tension. If you are going to do it, keep the tension until the end. It would be more interesting. Even a layperson can notice this. Another thing, not TV related. Sometimes when you ask a question, people react as you should be worried before starting. Or they say, just try it first and half smile, mocking. But you are asking sincerely. You could even deserve a thanks for asking. You are asking a simple question and they make it seem like you shouldn't care. That's extreme. Like harassment. You are just asking. They should just answer. Next topic: regret and failure. When you fail or have a frustrating experience, that can become a powerful motivator. But trying to make up for the failure doesn't work. Your mind reacts defensively. You can't intentionally turn failure into motivation. It had to happen naturally. I also feel that I'm a bit different from others. Maybe that sensor makes me notice things more. People from Hokkaido can seem like aliens compared to Honshu. Even food tastes different. It's not just religion difference. For example, things like ankimo or sushi ingredient. People talk about, but I don't experience it. I feel a strong sense of loneliness because I notice this thing more than others. Today, celebrity shows that what they consider the best rice accompaniment. My family does something extreme. Roll up onion on rice or a plain tofu on rice with no seasoning. That shocked me even though I've struggled differently. I realized there are people who go further than me. Taste-wise, I like this person. Personality with wise, not much. Both only children. They are liberal arts. I'm science. Taste is similar coffee jelly tofu, but raw tofu on rice grows to imagine. Still, they've eaten this healthy food or year is commonality. And the repair workers came and left quickly. I started worrying about future visit. What if I need a bathroom and they here for a long time? I get anxious about timing. Previously, I would already be anxious a week before the scheduled visit. About tofu, I wonder if cold tofu tastes better. Maybe I'll eat it. I just found out the repair person will come again, which is disappointing. Parent expected the visit to end quickly, but it didn't. For my podcast and jingles, I try and rotate ideas myself. It's find, but if I find joy in the artwork, I risk feeling the podcast itself has no meaning. My energy is low. I have a depression prone constitution. I have to carefully straight guide my life, even if my parents doesn't understand. It's now night. I haven't decided the cover yet. I tend to compromise that, then go back and think because nothing is final. If I don't commit, I get stuck in a loop of always wanting better. Even though I'm not an artist, there rarely a perfect solution. Once I decide, I have to accept it or go all the way. Sometimes TV feels fake. I even suspect extras at a show were planted to make the scene livelier. I overthink things like that. Back in middle and high school, my mother would call at 7 p.m. Once a stranger answered, didn't say their same. My father got angry. And normally, people would just accept it. My father was extreme. Afternoon, I work on podcast covers. Nighttime is difficult without scatter past ideas fade. Recording a bed is hard. Recording is in bed is hard. I wanted to make a jingle. Try to now worked. Take struggles and for everyone. It's 2 p.m. I spend hours thinking about the cover. My health might decline. Stress is high. If I stop, frustrating grows. If I continue, stress remains. Trying to be casual backfires. My throat suddenly hurt. Maybe my body is reacting. Also, I have a more fetish, very focused on one point. Psychology gives reason, but I don't fully get it. Previously, I tried a blog ad. Failed after consulting expert. I hate compromise. I hate compromise, but sometimes giving up is necessary. But thinking tends to be off. My thinking tends to be off. For example, I can't post a sudden ad, so I focus where frustration drives action. Currently, currently I distribute an English podcast. I tried the Japanese platform Voicy twice, but I couldn't publish. It doesn't hurt. I can't reach a global audience anyway. This morning, I worried about program descriptions in English and Japanese. I daydream about host telling idols they're perfect replying the same fantasy multiple times. Parents argue, blaming me for Smells childhood, childhood incident. It's a dysfunctional family. And I listen to podcasts at very low volume, but my sensory sensitivity makes it painful. In school, elementary and middle school life felt like being with animals. In rural Hokkaido public schools, that's normal. Some say OCD tendencies emerge in situations that seem dangerous. Maybe this had an effect. But depression and OCD persist lifelong. I dislike when people say this is good, but it could be better. If something is good, just say that instinct it could be better is pushy. I realize sometimes I overthink and become pushing myself. Lately in school you might see someone telling a bully, you are bullying while they themselves are guilty. Hypocrisy happens everywhere.